So welcome everyone to this training on NicheLab. NicheLab is my latest AI-powered niche intelligence tool that I painstakingly built primarily for myself to help me evaluate certain ideas or niches that I have, and I'm sharing it with the world for free. All you need is a Gmail account to save the report. In fact, to use it, you don't even need a Gmail. So there's no upsell, there's nothing, there's no strings attached. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and let me give you a quick walkthrough. What is my claim, UVP, unique value proposition? Well, I'm claiming that you can find a profitable niche in under 60 seconds. I've timed it, I've tested it, and yes, it will process and give you an answer in less than 1 minute or 60 seconds. So what is it? NicheLab comprise a series of tools. Obviously, they're all AI powered for sure. I have the idea generator, I have the niche research, I have the geo analyzer, and I have the competitor analysis. Let's walk through each of these modules one by one. So the first one is idea generator. This is where you're going to spend most of your time at the starting part of it all. So how this should work is that you start with module 1, idea generator, and then you proceed to module 2, niche research. And if you don't like what you see, then you start again at module 1 and then you go to module 2. Module 1, module 2, module 1, module 2. Module 2 is basically deep research. Module 1, as the name implies, is basically idea generation. Now, once you have found a niche that you believe interests you, makes sense, not so competitive based on your relative experience in digital marketing, then you can choose to go deeper and generate essentially a geo analyzer report or a competitor analysis report. At a high level, geo, generative engine optimization, is like search engine optimization, but geo, the only acronym that's different is the G, which is generative. So it's generative AI platform. Therefore, it's basically you're looking at visibility within Gen AI platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so on and so forth. Competitor analysis, as the name implies, is really to assess your worthy competitors for ideas and also for their weak spots so that you can exploit their weakness. Basic SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, right? So sure, they have strengths, that's the S. They will also have weakness. Every website, I believe, will have weaknesses. Even mine also have weaknesses. So now it's an easy matter to just key in the URL and let the AI analyze and let you know in plain language what they are not doing correctly. And then you can turn threats into opportunities. So we're going to look into this modules one at a time. Idea generator. And there are two pathways that I have put together. So you have a category-based pathway, which means to say these are for people who kind of have a clue or familiarity with a certain category and you want to drill down and narrow down to a niche. Then you can go by category. For example, maybe some of you are home and garden enthusiasts, then you can start drilling down on home and garden. Or maybe you're a wealth and prosperity kind of guy, then you can go down that vertical. Or some of you are maybe like music inclined or automotive. So choose a category that you have some familiarity with. So from a category, the tool will allow you to narrow down into relevant subcategories. And you can select one or multiple subcategories, and then we ask for other basic information because the niche blueprint that's generated is also consider things like country. So whether you're in Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, USA, is going to localize the opportunity. Then of course we have language. So if English is good for you, then you key in English. And then finally they're going to ask you for customer segment. And this is important, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something that we always consider or process, but I can tell in my experience right now running my e-commerce flight simulation hardware business, where some of my SKUs or product lines I'm going to pivot from B2C, business to consumer, to B2B, business to business. So, and that's because of product to market fit, which can evolve over time either through global situations, global economic situations right now, which is what we're experiencing, or it could also be act of competitors. So competitors can choose to, for example, price bomb their SKUs or their product lines. We call this race to the bottom, by slashing prices, and suddenly your esteemed product range is no more competitive. But it's usually a segment effect, which means, if it's price and it's consumer, well, if your product can withstand the business segment, for example, then it's a different play. Okay, so these are something that I want to start to introduce to you. And within NicheLab, you get to choose your chosen segment. And you're going to have choices. You can say general consumer, you can say business owner, solopreneur, and so on and so forth. So it's a guided tour, but it makes you think, right? Who is it that you want to serve? You want to serve the consumer market, which is what everyone typically talks about, but it doesn't have to be. You could also serve business owners. You can serve solopreneurs. So your niche becomes a niche within a niche. Because when you change the category of customers, it becomes a different niche as well. So the overall walkthrough over here, as you can see, you pick a category. Right now you have over 25 categories. And then, but if you have a specific niche idea already, you can go ahead and key in. You don't have to use my category system. For example, you're looking at feng shui, just go ahead and key in feng shui consultancy, done. And then it would help you to evaluate feng shui consultancy without having to go through categories and subcategories. For those of you who have a challenge to say, I don't really know what to do, then please use the category system to drill down. So that's number 2, where you have subcategories. Number 3, they're going to ask you to choose a business model. Now, you don't have to commit to it, right? But let's say, for example, you clearly are just interested in affiliate marketing. Then just choose affiliate marketing, and it would now contextualize your niche opportunity with that of affiliate marketing. And of course, as I said, you can further contextualize by country and customer type as well. Now, this is provided that you actually kind of can use categories, subcategories, or ideas to narrow down. So we call this the I have a niche idea pathway. Inevitably, there'll be some of you who say, I really have no idea where to start. So this is the second pathway I've created for you. It leads to similar answer. It's just that the starting point is different, right? So over here, you really have no idea, no niche in mind. And the way I go about guiding you is to offer you a wizard where I ask you a few questions. Okay, tell us what you know, or tell us what you enjoy. Number 2, tell us how much time commitment you're willing to put into this business. Tell us your experience. Are you beginner, intermediate, or advanced, for example? Number 4, tell us your revenue goal. Tell us your preferred business model. And of course, your market and your country. So there are 2 pathways. One is category, subcategory, or enter a niche, and the other one is to simply answer some basic questions. I've tried both. Both are pretty awesome. And what is delivered to you, which you can save as a niche blueprint report. And as I said, to save it as a report, you just need, the tool is going to ask you to log in, obviously, because right now, if you don't log in, you're anonymous, and you can use the tool, no problem. But if you want to save the report, you have to save it as under a user. So that's why they need your Gmail to tag the reports with that Gmail user. Now, just to let you know, I don't see your reports. I don't even know what you select. I don't have that kind of capability. So everything you do is 100% confidential. I have no interest in looking at what you do, because I'm busy. I'm busy myself doing my own stuff. Okay. So similarly, you can't see what I do. I can't see what you do. We just do our own things, no problem. Now, what do you get in the niche blueprint report? So it's actually a report. When you save it, it's a PFD. Let me say it again. When you save it, it's a PDF, and you can download the PDF to your computer. It's a nice looking, well formatted report. So you have competition level, low, medium, and high, so that you know what you're up against. You get monetization potential, difficulty. Pay attention, especially if you're new to the business. Then don't choose a niche that is difficult. Choose an easy niche, because what it means is simply your competitor landscape is going to be easier, and that's going to help you achieve success more easily. If you're hotshot expert, then none of these should face you, no problem, right? Top keywords, they offer you seed keywords to jumpstart, and you can enter the seed keywords in Master SEO to further generate themes and topics for articles generation, for example. There's also content angles, and if it's an underserved market, it will tell you, and everything should be congruent because you get a niche score as well. So module 2 works hand in hand with module 1. So module 2 goes deeper, and just to let you know, when you're using one or two pathways where I want to evaluate a niche or help me find a niche, you eventually will get a niche blueprint report as well. So if you're using module 1, you will also be using module 2 as you drill down. But module 2 is also designed to be a standalone. If you really know what you want, or you're just evaluating different niche ideas, then go straight to module 2, because the niche blueprint report will be also the same. So you enter niche idea, country, language, and then customer segment. It's just a shortcut to a niche blueprint. Ultimately, what you're looking for is a niche blueprint PDF report that contains your action plan. And of course, I'll show you a demo very shortly. One of the things I've decided to do is to help us with a numerical scoring. I call this a profit score, for lack of a better term, so that we can kind of like quantify, right? We can compare two niches. One is 67, one is 87. 87 is a better opportunity, and 67. Is it really scientific? It's not, but it's better than a qualitative approach where both are good niches. I'm not sure which one is better. So just take it with a pinch of salt, and it's basically relative scoring that matters. So in the niche blueprint report, search demand, competition analysis, monetization strategies, content opportunities. So it's the same report that you will get even if you started in module 1, because module 1 requires you to drill down automatically into module 2, and the niche blueprint report is the same report. It's only the starting point that is a little bit different. So you will only start in module 2 if you already knew what you wanted to do and you just wanted to go ahead and generate a niche blueprint report really quickly without having to be guided in any of the pathways. That leaves module 3 and 4, Geo Analyzer. and competitive analysis. Now, to me, these are very, very awesome tools. They are actually standalone tools, which means it's not associated with the niche blueprint. But I found this very useful because depending on the niche that you're trying to penetrate, you will actually see that the opportunity may be competitive in the search results or the search engine. We call the SERPs, SERPs, search engine results pages. But it may be wide open from a Gen AI platform opportunity. And what it simply means is that today, because Gen AI platforms do have a market share when it comes to lead acquisition or brand familiarization or acquisition, saying the same thing, right? So let me say this again. So today, because Gen AI platforms do have some market share when it comes to, let me use proper terms, right? The first touch point. So before Gen AI came about, the first touch point would be people had a question, they wanted to know an answer, they would go into Google, particularly for products and services, because everyone knows that Google has curated SERPs, which means they know that number one is deemed to be more relevant than number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But today, what I'm saying is that the first touch point doesn't necessarily have to be the search engines. It could simply be a ChatGPT. So people are going to be opening up ChatGPT and asking pretty much the same questions, and therefore you want to have visibility in the search. Therefore you want to have visibility in Gen AI platform. Now, I'm later on going to be spending maybe 10 minutes to tell you what I believe goes on behind the scenes between SEO and GEO. Okay, and I'm going to tell you this, for those of you who maybe have a belief that GEO can be built in isolation, which means without any search presence, I would question that belief. Okay, to me they are related. I have spent a lot of time in this area, and I'm going to tell you that if you just focus on GEO without SEO, you're like a one-legged hopping business entity. You need both. And we'll come to that later on. But for now, what this report does is that this report really allows you to analyze the gap in the Gen AI platforms, especially of your competitors. And it's my belief right now that sure, the forward-looking businesses understand GEO. They are investing some time and money, or their agency is helping them take care of it. So today, if you're an agency, you're not going to be worshipped just because you understand GEO. It's an assumption, right? It's an assumption that every digital agency understands GEO, the importance of it, but it has to be accompanied by a sound and credible SEO strategy. Okay, and I'll give you my reason why later on. So how it works here is you enter a keyword. You can optionally enter a URL, and it doesn't have to be your URL if you're evaluating a business. What you can do is to enter your competitors, your top competitors' URL, country data, and then you get to see the GEO capabilities of your current competitors, if any. I can tell right now most small businesses are not focusing on this, especially if they don't engage an agency, and this would be a great opportunity to slip under their noses undetected, to go out there and get the visibility that you want in Gen AI platforms. But let me say this again, right? Any larger company who engages a digital agency, is the digital agency's responsibility to cover their backs in Gen AI platforms via GEO content marketing. So what you get for the GEO report, you get the AI visibility score, regional demand map, citation sources, content strategy, and opportunity score. A high opportunity score is good for you. A low opportunity score simply means that your competitor is strong. And finally, competitor analysis. So this requires you to key in a URL. And of course, you just need to understand that these tools can be used two-sided manner, right? You can either use it on your own to evaluate your own performance and identify gaps, or you can key in your top competitor to identify his or her gaps. So competitor URL, niche, country, and then you have report. It's a competitive analysis report. It identifies content gaps, SEO weaknesses, exploitable weaknesses, provides you an action plan, and give you an overall score. So the focus is different, right? You have the geo analyzer, you have the competitive analyzer itself. And there we go. We start with idea generator, niche research, geo analyzer, competitor analysis. And with practice, you can go through them and breach through them really quickly with very little time and expense on your site. In summary, this is like your action plan. You always start with module 1, idea generator. And in this case, you can always pick a category and a business model. And if you're already not a seasoned entrepreneur and you want to keep it simple, you don't want to interact with customers, feel free to start with the affiliate marketing model. Then you key in your target country, your audience you want to target, and let the tool guide you along the way. And then, as I said, that once you start to narrow down, the tool will automatically bring you to module 2, which is the niche research. It's seamless if you start with module 1, by the way, but you still end up at the end of the day with a niche blueprint that you can save and download in PDF format. Now, once you've decided that you want to attack this niche and you want to deep dive into understanding the landscape a lot better, that's when you then proceed with geo analyzer and competitive analysis. If you stop at module 2 and you don't wish to proceed, then I see no point for you going to 3 and 4. Now, let's say you're not sure, you kind of are interested in it, but you want to find out more about the niche and you're undecided, then of course, by all means, go ahead and do a geo analysis and competitive analysis. Now, of course, if both come back and tell you that the niche that you so desire to go into is competitive, then the warning signs are all there already. If I were you, skip and go and find something easier to accomplish, especially if your level of experience is little itself. Okay? Now, Cindy is saying cannot build alone. Base is SEO, then AEO and GEO, and all three need to build up. Exactly. So let's spend a little bit of time right now with a quick fireside chat on GEO itself. Okay, I can tell you that, as I said, GEO should not be executed as a standalone. Now you're going to be asking me why, and maybe you'll even ask me what is it in the first place and how different is it from SEO. Well, in fact, to be frank with you, that kind of deserves another webinar, right? SEO and GEO. But for now, let's do quick high level. So again, you understand right now that GEO is really deliberate action to gain visibility in Gen AI platform. That you have to understand. With regards to why SEO has to be in the picture, because some of you are confused, right? So GEO is GEO, why do I need to bother about SEO? Well, here is the $1 million question that you will find difficult to answer without SEO, and this is this. Let's go back to SEO, right? We know that there are a few couple of steps that the search engine must naturally undertake. So Firstly, your site has to be crawlable. You have to give permission to the search engines to crawl your site. And that's where the index follow command in your robots text come in. Those of you who are SEO geeks, isn't it? If you say no index, no follow, then the search engines will stay out. Now, do I have direct evidence of it? I do, actually I do, right? Because I've, in my hobby time, worked with very high level companies, and believe it or not, some of them do make mistakes and end up with no index, no follow, and then they get no traffic, and then say, why am I not getting traffic? And then you analyze deep. The first thing you're going to do is to look at the robot text file, right? Because sometimes the robot text file can be built incorrectly. Instead of no index, no follow for a certain segment of your website, you end up no index, no follow, star, which means your entire website. It's a mistake, essentially, but it validates the point, right? That you must first give permission for the search engine crawlers to crawl. Now, crawling is discovery of your URLs, essentially. But that's because they discover it doesn't mean they will index it. Now, today, I'm going to tell you this. Indexing is no longer guaranteed or a walk in the park. It will take time to index. Don't expect to be indexed like, wow, 1,000 pages in one day. Doesn't happen anymore. You have to trust me on this because I've gone through this whole phase very, very recently. So crawling is crawling. Indexing is indexing. And even if they index today, they may end up only indexing selectively. They index your index page first. And then they index your pillar pages, your more important pages. And then slowly they index the rest of your website. So indexing can be a painful process today. So there's crawling, there's indexing. Then after that, they will consider your web page content for a SERP position. And of course, they do have their algorithm to determine those things. The point I'm trying to say is this, right? That number one, you can have a great website that Google may not even know that you exist. So they can't even crawl because they don't even know that your URL exists. Now, what is well known in the SEO world in terms of how do I ensure that Google knows I exist? The definite answer is to be linked by another site that's already indexed and that's credible. Why? Because Google crawl through links. But most of you who build a new website, you are standalone, right? You are basically isolated from the whole world, and then you generate all your AI content and all these things, but you don't think of linking, basic linking itself. We're not talking about having quality backlinks. I'm just saying that, getting a link from somewhere. So where can that somewhere be? For example, if you're a totally new website, well, you could go to Reddit and start to participate and contribute and maybe link back to your own website under the right context. So that's SEO. Actually, my point is that you already can understand and appreciate how challenging it can be if you do not know the whole process. So my next question to you is this. How about GEO? How does Gen AI know you exist? How has Gen AI traditionally known to be mentioning certain websites? And here is what is known in the industry to those who know, without a shadow of a doubt. They crawl the search engines. You understand? Right? So they crawl the search engines to discover you, and once they discover you, they may or may not want to take or reference your answers within your web page. So that is why SEO cannot be ignored today. So for those of you who are born in the AI era, my point is this. If you want to be visible in Gen AI, you also need to have a good dose of in-depth knowledge in SEO. The crawling, the indexing, the ranking, and all these things. And therefore, your website is not just focusing on GEO format. Now, I don't want to go in too deep about the GEO formatting, but those of you who know what you know that the formatting of your content for SEO is somewhat different from GEO. Why? Because when we optimize for the search engines, we have a nice introduction. We have a H1, and the intro is like a summary. And
Sorry,
there's...
I don't understand.
No, I wasn't talking to you. Sorry, that was Siri that activated. Anyway, so the point is simple, right? You have one page of content, 1,000 words. You're optimizing for SEO. GEO works very differently. They focus on entities. They focus on the Q&A format. They focus on schema and so on and so forth. You don't have to be a genius in this because you don't even have to know this, right? Because if you tell OpenAI to generate content in geo format, they'll do it for you. You don't even need to know. But see, hence, that's the nature of the AI thing, right? That you get the right answer and the right format, but you don't even know why. That's what I feel for many of you who are overly dependent on AI without knowing that itself. Okay? So please, my friends, leverage AI all you want, but spend a little bit more time to understand in depth. We call this the, 1 mile depth and 1 inch wide. Especially if you want to leverage free traffic, because this is what it's all about here. If you look at this entire framework of NicheLab, I don't talk about Facebook ads, I don't talk about paid advertising, I don't talk about search ads, because why don't you start leveraging the world's most powerful free traffic engines in the world via SEO and GEO? It's not as if it's one or the other today anyway. It's SEO to ensure that you are able to surface in the top of the SERPs for Google for any product or service that you own, because the Google traffic is still extremely powerful, and most importantly, the people who search for what you're looking, the people who search for your product or service are totally qualified from a financial perspective. You understand where I'm coming from? If someone searches for a private jet for sale, you bet your bottom dollar they can afford it. That's why they're searching. So it's self-qualification, and that has been a powerful point in the search engines for SEO, and it continues to be powerful. You could sell a bungalow house, isn't it, in the search engines if you were ranked for that street where people are searching for bungalow houses, for example. Now, with Gen AI, it has forced us to also do what we can to gain visibility in Gen AI platforms. And I'll tell you firsthand, because I have business partners as well, I've been told that, they casually telling me, well, Fabian, not bad. I closed a $200,000 deal, and the customer told me that he actually did a ChatGPT search. I mean, it was a casual conversation when I was in China. And of course, I absorbed everything like a freaking sponge, because that's validation. We are looking at that kind of validation. So I knew exactly what he was telling me. In fact, he was asking me, is your website optimized for Gen AI? I say, why do you ask? And then he gave me the answer. Guess what I did after I left? Right? I ran Geo Analyzer back at the hotel. I like, shit, let's do this quickly, my friends, because we're in the same industry, by the way. So the only reason why you may drag your feet to do all this stuff is because you just have not seen the money. That's why. And some of you maybe haven't seen the money for 20 years, for 10 years, for 15 years, and that's why you drag your feet. And that's why everything in your mind is kind of screwed up, right? It's like, whoa, you mean I have to invest in this, to do this and do this? But the people who have seen the money, they have a totally different outlook to them. You can't even stop them. It's like a drug in a good way. You know what I'm trying to say? You can't even stop them from moving ahead and bulldozing because they have seen the money. What I'm trying to tell you is very simple. Today, with NicheLab and all the other tools out there, you have an opportunity to see money. Not a gazillion dollars, but maybe small money, a few $100 a month. But that is what you need to motivate yourself to say, goodness, if I just did one small site with 30 pages and I'm making a few $100, what if I built a website with 500 pages, because that niche has that kind of breadth of topics. And what is it to you anyway, right? You're not paying per article, you're just pressing a button and you decide whether I want to generate 20 pages of content or 500. Now, of course, I want to warn you, just in case you say, let me press a button and generate 500 pages of content. You can generate 500 pages of content in one night. But please, for goodness sake, do not publish 500 pages of content in one night. You will almost 100% get caught by Google, and you may end up being de-indexed because Google knows that it's humanly impossible to do this. Now, to help you out, just to let you know, in mastersite.ai, I have built in what we call a scheduling system. So what you do, you generate 500 pages of content in Master SEO, one-click push all 500 pages of content into Master Site, but you're going to drip feed to publish. And I've made it so incredibly simple, of course with the help of lovable AI, right? In my scheduling system, it knows how many unpublished pages you have. It's mathematics. So it says, okay, you have 500 pages. And I say, publish 2 articles a day. That's all I need to do, right? Publish 2 articles a day. Then it will calculate and tell you based on 2 articles per day, you will publish 2 articles a day for the next 250 days to publish all 500 pages of content. So you run to what we call drip feed and not just launch a tirade of 50 articles or 100 articles at any one time. Please don't do that. Use a scheduling. I mean, it doesn't have to be master site, it can be WordPress for all you care, right? But make sure that you schedule and drip feed the publishing of your content. That's important as well. And that's why having in-depth knowledge holistically is important, right? Is that I'm leveraging AI, you are leveraging AI for SEO, for website building, for GEO. The difference is that I know what I'm doing. And I don't flout the rules because I need to stay alive in this game. Same thing for affiliate marketing, by the way, right? You know, I shouldn't be having to educate you these things, but my point is that when you first build a website that you want Google to love and index, don't start dropping affiliate links immediately. Get indexed, get crawled, get indexed, get ranked, then add affiliate links later on. Why? Because if you don't get ranked, you're not going to get traffic. And you're not going to get traffic, you're not going to make money anyway. So build your site, even if it's an affiliate marketing site. Don't drop affiliate links until you get index, rank, start getting traffic, and then you slowly swap your naked links for affiliate links. That's how you do affiliate marketing properly. You don't shout out with a gazillion banners on your web page. That's not how you do it. Build a content site. And remember, Google doesn't care whether it's AI written content or whatever. Google just says your website has to be useful. Your content has to be useful. So how do we define usefulness? Can I ask you geniuses right now? How do we define usefulness? Is there a metric that we can look at to conclude whether your pages are adding value to your visitors? Anyone here? How do we figure out usefulness? Like a KPI, right? Seong Boon, I must clap for you. You are amazing. Yes, the easiest KPI is Google Analytics GA4 for free, and it's average time. Well, it's either average time on page or average session. It's pretty much the same thing. So if it's average time on page, for example, is less than 2 minutes, you better question your entire content usefulness, right? If it's like 22 seconds, then Houston, you have a problem. So that's my point, right? People like, Seong Boon, he's an engineer, he thinks very deep. Sometimes he thinks too much, actually. But he understands. And he knows the health of his content, of his website, whether he need to go and do something, and so on and so forth, right? So that's why you need depth of knowledge. Remember, 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep is what you need. And if you ask me, SEO and GEO plus a great site is all you need to literally become a digital millionaire because it's just repeating and conquering new niches. The last tip I'll tell you is this, right? Rather than basically conquer, niche A and then niche B, which is totally different from niche A, the real entrepreneurs would create niches and sub-niches within that same niche. What is the reason for that? The reason is so that you can achieve a metric known as CLV, customer lifetime value. Okay? So the smart entrepreneurs in the world, they always build related niches. In other words, if you're thinking of a niche, try to think of it from the perspective of your typical customer segment. What does this customer need? And build your niches around this specific customer's need. So you can build 3 websites, 4 websites, doesn't matter. Each of them have a different focus, but it's positioning to the same customer. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, any questions before we go into the live demo? Anyone with any question? Now's a good time to ask. What if you're unfamiliar with SEO? SH Tan. Let me give all of you the answer. Join my free private community where I have my SEO training ready to gift to you. So school.com/WIA. In fact, all of you should be there. I haven't even started charging anything for school.com. I'm just being nice, right? So please, those of you who are rusty in SEO, you're weak in SEO, I have my SEO training ready to give to you for free. Let me just show you very quickly. What's happening here? I need to log in. Hang on, yeah. Okay, this is my school community. If you're in the community, can you please be more interactive? Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed that 95% of people here do nothing. I don't understand why. Okay, maybe because it's free. Then I'll make it paid next time, right? So I have my SEO training. It's available for free. I have a lot of good stuff here. Come on. Okay. This is my most detailed free training. I have some notes here for you as well. Look at that. I got one membership request, yeah? Finally, one more comes in. So, yeah. school.com/WIA and go and assess my training. Okay. Yeah, anyone can sign up with school.com. What is the difference between those unlockable and those private courses? Well, some of the private courses have no content. That's why they are private. Okay, so I have to housekeep it, but basically, if you go to the about, what it's saying here is that level 2 unlock give you lifetime access to Facebook marketing fundamentals. Level 3 unlock give you access to SEO intensive, and level 4 gives you underdog method. These are all paid courses previously that I'm giving for free. How do you reach a certain level? Actually, I give you instructions, right? So go and interact over here. Very soon you get to level 3, which is only 20 points. You can even do it one day, and then you can unlock both the Facebook ads and the SEO training. Okay, so interactivity is the key to unlocking and earning your so-called your points. And we have people who do these things, right? Those who are more active, obviously they have an agenda and they don't mind doing certain things. Unfortunately, 90% of people here don't do anything because I guess it's a free membership, right? So they don't do anything. Now, let me tell you, without warning, I can change the whole damn thing into a paid membership program, if I want to. Okay, I can throw my tools in and make it paid anytime. So please take advantage of my weakness and work on your own knowledge gap, especially in SEO. Because let me tell you this, right? There are a lot of people out there who talk about how they can scale their business and all these things. Most of the time they're running paid ads. But my point is that paid ads requires a certain kind of mindset. I mean, this guy spent $1,000 a day. That's not something you're going to be doing, right? If you hesitate to already, invest 200 US, 400 US on a tool that can help you, I don't see you spending any money on paid ads. So you can study paid advertising, but I don't think it's going to be of any use for you because it's a mindset issue, not a money issue. And it's perfectly fine, by the way, to have business models that work with SEO and GEO. I love SEO, I love GEO, and many of my business, in fact, all of my businesses leverage SEO, of course, and now slowly I'm building GEO content as well. Why wouldn't I want to do that, right? So anyway, let's move on. NicheLab. I'm going to give you the URL, and it's nichelab.io. Okay, nichelab.io. This is what I promise you, and this is what I'm delivering to you right now. This is the landing page. And clicking any of the call to action button will take you to the actual NicheLab interface itself. Currently, the interface has English and Vietnamese because I have a Vietnamese community. And shortly, I'm going to translate this into Mandarin as well. Okay. So let's look at this. So let's look at NicheLab, starting with Idea Generator, which is the first module. Notice over here that you have the left pathway, which is I have a niche idea. I also have the right pathway, which has helped me find a niche. The pathway is somewhat different, but it leads to the same outcome, which is the niche report. Now let's start with I have a niche idea. So you have categories that you can select over here. What categories do you want to choose? Just choose something that you can relate to. That's the whole idea, right? And at this stage, you don't need to log in. You don't need to sign into Gmail, nothing. It's totally a click through to come here and you can move forward. Now, based on the webinar example, which I did say I'll show you the feng shui type of opportunity, I'll go to Home and Garden.
Here's what I found.
And then I will narrow down into mindful spaces and energy design, let's say, because I'm gravitating towards that. You will see that I'm now asked to select a business model. Now I can choose not to select it because maybe I don't understand anything, and that's why it's optional. So let's say I want to do a local service business partner. You can hover over the business models to better understand what they are. But for this, local service business partner is a great business model because, as the tooltip is saying here, find a skilled trade person who lacks marketing. You bring the leads via SEO. They do the work because they are the expert. You split the profits 30 to 50%. No employees, no equipment, just marketing expertise. In other words, this is your value to a tradesperson, right? The feng shui expert is the tradesperson in this example. So I'm going to choose local service business partner. In fact, for those of you who can recall, when you attended Real Internet Secrets, the Real Internet Secrets model was primarily focusing on local service business partner. Now it is adapting the RIS model for the internet age. Finally, target market will be Singapore, language English, customer type, and this matters, right? Who am I targeting? Now, I'm not going to choose general consumer because I'm not the expert. I want to partner with the expert. So in this case, I can choose small business owner is my customer type. And I click generate ideas. So for you, you can do the same. You can start interacting with NicheLab and brainstorming or evaluating your first niche idea. That should let you know that the tool is designed to help you with 10 business ideas at one and well, let me say this again. That should let you know that the tool is designed to generate 10 niche ideas at one go. So you should look into each and every one of them. And in fact, you will see that the strength of this tool is really in helping you identify micro niches, as you can see in the answer over here. Now, in any case, if you don't like the answer, you can always click on regenerate and it will brainstorm another 10 niche ideas for you rather than start all over again. Now, Folin Chen is asking, if I target Chinese who stay in Malaysia, should I select target country China? Answer is yes, of course. Well, actually, let me just correct what I said to Lin Chen, right? Now, in this case, it really depends on who are you competing with in this case, right? If your target is your competitors are based in Malaysia, your target country should also be in Malaysia. And in this case, you really need to find the right kind of keyword, because assuming that you're going to be leveraging the search engines, then you are targeting people who leverage search engines to search for a solution based in Malaysia. Okay. Xiaombun is asking, to rank in China, do I need to have the domain hosted in China hosting, registered with China local authorities. Uh, Honestly, I don't have the right experience to give you advice in this area, but certainly if you want to attract the Chinese in China, number one, your website at the very least should be multi-language, which means English and simplified Chinese. Okay, and basically how they're going to look for you is either they use a VPN to search, and many Chinese do have VPNs, by the way, especially those who are looking to go overseas, or you hope to rank your Chinese content in Baidu. So it's Baidu, it's Google search engines, but today that's where GEO comes in, right? Now, so we're talking about two different things here. We're talking about what Lin Chen is talking about and what Xiangbun is doing. You're talking about having a market where they speak a totally different language, and in my opinion, this is where multi-language content comes in. If you want to target the Chinese, you really need to have Chinese content on your website, which my master site can do so easily today. Okay. WeChat, yes, Ivan has experience in China as well, and not just WeChat, but WeChat and Xiaohongshu and Douyin as well. If you want to be hardcore targeting these people, okay, so you really have to also extend your acquisition beyond Google, beyond the English Gen AI. You need to open up a Redbook account, Xiaohongshu. You definitely want to have some visibility in WeChat and Weibo. Yeah, I mean, China has their own social media ecosystem. I guess that's really the bottom line, and unfortunately, I'm no expert in that area. Yeah. So coming back here, you get to look again. If you scroll down and look at these things, you can see that it is really drilling down on what I would consider a micro niche, which is great because micro niches are the way you actually penetrate a niche, because you're covering a very, very specific segment, and therefore it makes it a lot easier to rank in the search engines, right? And if you wanted something more specific, then rather than use the category, subcategory approach, you can go ahead and type in a very specific niche. So let me start again. In fact, I'm just going to type in or check the box SEO focus niche. Customer type will be small business owners. Generate ideas. Let's look at they forced me to log in as well. So okay. Generate ideas. Later, if you're talking about SEO perspective, yes, you really have to do it at the country level first, because they are very different markets. So as you can see, because I type in the word feng shui, it's helping me again to look at niche ideas in feng shui, and therefore it becomes a micro niche, but it's still going to be fairly interesting. For example, retail shop floor plan feng shui, I think is interesting from a feng shui practitioner perspective. And notice, right, that there is easy. The easy ones are listed there. A lot of these are easy. And then when you click in, you get to see what that niche idea is all about. To say most feng shui content is geared towards residential, specialized retail layout advice for competitive spaces like malls is rare, right? Content article, seek keywords, retail shop, feng shui, Singapore. Business model suitability. Small business owners in Singapore are time poor and prefer a direct solution over DIY. By partnering with a feng shui master, you convert high intent traffic into qualified leads for a high ticket $2,000 to $5,000 audit. How do you monetize? It gives you ideas. Let me just read it out, right? Charge a per lead fee $5 to $100 for every retail store audit inquiry generated through the site, or negotiate a 15 to 20% commission on closed renovation budget planning ideas with the master. Sell a priority review slot. Cross-sell premium curated luck enhancing display kits. So remember, I talked about if you want to go into a niche, then you want to be building businesses which are related. So feng shui advisory is one thing, but you also have the, as what they say here, the luck enhancing display kits, the hardware, the feng shui hardware as well can be another business. Anyway, I can just click run full niche analysis. I just want to show you what it looks like, the report. So as you can see, we have now evolved from idea generation to niche research. As I already said, when you start with module 1, you will evolve into module 2. So here we go, right? If we look at the overall profit score, 84, which means is a good opportunity. Demand analysis is good. Competition is considered low competition. Content opportunity is great, and geo opportunity is also good. Now, just to let you know, all these are AI estimates, and one of the latest feature, if you want a more accurate analysis, like say for example, if I click on this, you see that it's actually a real website. It's not some hallucinated website. Now, normal AI may or may not be able to accomplish these things. And therefore, what I've added as a capability, as an option for you, is for those of you who want more accurate insights. You now can enter what we call the Firecrawl API key, and I tell you where to go about getting it. It's not a free API key, but it gives you a few hundred tokens for free. So this is the website. You can go read it on your own. What it does is that you can use the API key to scrape accurate data, and they have a free plan, which is what I'm using as well. You can script 500 pages, and this is a good starting point, essentially, that costs you nothing, right? And then you sign in. Not here actually. And then you can go obtain the API key, paste it here, and you get a lot more accurate data, especially those that require scraping, either scraping a website URL or scraping search engine results, for example. Okay, just to let you know. So you have what I call this is like a website and content plan, article roadmap over here. And this is awesome because you can literally take all these article titles and go out there and generate exact articles. There's a site strategy, monetization, and then I have two additional tabs. One is for Master AI, and you can use this to literally copy the entire prompt into your cloned Master AI lovable project. And here is the one which is literally helping you to fill in the blanks for masterseo.ai. So if you want, because you're logged in, it's automatically saved over in the save section over here, and you can recall this anytime. You can also export the niche blueprint like so. It's a PDF format, and then you can take a look at it. And I think this is a pretty cool report considering it's free, right? Now let's move on to Geo Analyzer, and I'm just going to take this niche along with the journey. So let's say, for example, I want to analyze this result. I'm going to come here, Control C, Geo Analyzer, paste, enter the seed keyword. In this case, it's going to be Feng Shui Consultancy. And I'm selecting Singapore English, Analyze Geo. So here we go, right? Geo score of 84 out of 100, which is a great thing. Now let's see what it's saying over here. Wei Feng Shui is a dominant market leader in Singapore with high AI visibility due to its long-standing brand authority. Improving AI-specific structured data and moving away from image-heavy data delivery will solidify its position as the primary citation source for both Google search engines and ChatGPT search. So it's telling you that when it comes to AI engine visibility, Google, ChatGPT is strong, Perplexity, Bing, or Copilot is just moderate. Yeah. It gives you some additional data over here, localized data, keywords, content strategy. And this is really where the rubber meets the road when it comes to GEO optimization. So content strategy for AI engines, structured data. They're giving you fairly practical tips for GEO optimization. So use service schema, add a review schema to AI snippets, implement article schema. This is under structured data tips. Obviously, you need to understand what structured data is to begin with, right? Again, 1 inch wide, 1 mile deep. Then you have entity optimization, which is important for geo optimization. So strengthen the feng shui master entity by linking to specific name experts with individual bios. This is its weight in gold, ladies and gentlemen, when you're critiquing or you're developing a website for feng shui master or feng shui consultancy. Okay, it's telling you right in plain English. Ensure that the feng shui experts or the master, whatever you call them, have a distinguished bio for each of them, because it's specific name experts. If there are 5 of them, ensure the website is updated with 5 of their bios. Tell the audience what each of the 5 experts are experts in. Which area are they an expert in? This is known as entity optimization. Explicitly link Wei Feng Shui to the Singapore geographic entity using localized geo-coordinates in metadata. So again, they want to ensure that the business itself is linked to Singapore, and Singapore is known as a geographic entity. Use same as attribute in the schema to link official social media and Wikipedia Wikidata entries. You have citation sources, which is also part of geo optimization, and they're just telling you that, hey, if you have a website, try to go get mentioned in Singapore Business Review, local property review articles, SME center listings, even Asia meta directories like Yellow Pages, SG, and Yelp. Notice how localized the guidance is and how specific the guidance is. And this can be serious work that has to be done. Assuming it's being done by you, then that's a good thing. So export geo blueprint, and then the report looks like this. Now, if you're doing any kind of digital consultancy, could you be smart enough to generate this report and use the report as a basis to discuss your content plans, your geo optimization plans with your client? I think that's a very wise thing to do. And I'm not stopping you either. Okay? Again, if I want to save the report, I'll just do this and report save, right? Yeah, I think I clicked twice, so I'm just going to delete this. And then lastly, competitor analysis. Then you do the same thing. Take the URL, Control C. And analyze competitor. Here we go. Dominant legacy player, strong brand reputation, solid lead generation funnel. However, their SEO strategy is hampered by technical inefficiencies, such as excessive use of image-based content and gated PDFs. There's a significant opportunity to surpass them by providing free, high utility interactive tools and HTTP specific content that they currently gate or overlook. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you were to do competitive analysis on your own, my humble question to you is this: can you do a better job than the AI? To be frank, I'll tell you, for the amount of time the AI spends and the amount of time I spend, I'd rather use their report as a starting point, because it saves me a lot of time, isn't it? So competitor strengths, brand longevity, multilingual presence. Oh, that's interesting to know, right? They have content in both English and Mandarin. They have lead magnets, social proof, physical presence, exploitable weaknesses, technical SEO crawlability, content strategy, valuable insights a lot in PDFs, modern user experience, design feels slightly dated, B2C personalization, lack specific content for the Singapore HDB market, site architecture, separation of the store on a subdomain dilutes the ranking power of the main site. Again, this is an SEO approach that really requires further understanding, right? Low quality content. Tell you what they're not doing good and what you can do better. And all these suggested missing features. So same thing, I'll just click Save Report and Export Report. And there you go, right? This is a great report for you to check the boxes. Use it as a discussion point, especially for clients. Lastly, whatever you have saved, you can go to Save to retrieve it. It's labeled so you know what the report is. This is competitive analysis, geo analysis, and here is the niche research blueprint. And this is, of course, a very important starting point. Again, if you have master site, look at this column, copy the prompt, paste it in Lovable. If you have master SEO, then copy and paste all these configurations, especially the website brief, competitor URLs, into master SEO to build your sitemap. Now let me answer some questions. So Linton is asking, SEO niche focus, profitable niche only. If you untick, then the AI will not filter the business model suitability for an SEO dominant acquisition model. Okay, so because again, for example, a good business can be retail, but retail is not an SEO niche focus. It may be a good niche, but it's not an SEO niche focus. So if you are planning to build a website, leverage SEO, GEO for traffic, then you should always tick the box earlier, right? In niche idea generator. Over here, SEO focus, profitable niches only. And then you get more highly curated niche ideas that also qualify as SEO focused profitable niches. Now, what is gated PDF? A gated PDF means that you can't access the content without having to give up your email address. Usually that's called a gated PDF. So it's usually behind a login, for example, or you may even have to pay for it. It's different from offering a PDF that anyone can download. Remember, we talked about permission for the search engines to crawl. So if you have a PDF that you don't want to gate, that's good news, because it means that it's crawlable and the search engines will crawl PDFs and include those PDFs in the SERPs as well, which can help you, especially if your goal was to viralize a PDF report. Now, any other questions that you guys have so far? Now let me ask you the $1,000,000 question. Have anybody found interesting niches that you can further explore using NicheLab? Anybody so far? I'm sure some of you are messing around with it. If not, any questions? What is a higher score? Actually, I don't know. If you ask me anything above 70, 80, I would consider going for it already. Okay. Private senior care directory. 82. I think it seems okay. I can tell that in Southeast Asia at least, or Singapore and Malaysia, right, the directory model is underexploited. Okay, is underexploited, and to the extent that you have a strategy to curate listings, directory can be a very profitable business because it's lacking. If you ask me, like in Singapore, if you ask me, is there a directory of piano teachers? Hard to find. Honestly, hard to find, right? So these are the things that you can look at, that you can literally build a legit business without having to overthink too much. Yes, I agree for sure that the aging population is a gold mine. 100%. It's on my radar for sure, Eric. It's on my personal radar. Okay? Because there's so many things that you can, so many models, right, that you can come up with using a tool like this even to brainstorm. There are tons of very new, especially, there's a whole generation regarding aging population. There's going to be a whole generation of new AI assisted security systems out there, right, for the elderly, from fall protection to fall notification. We talk about if elderly falls in a home, which services get notified and so on and so forth. It's definitely going to be a lot more developed, especially with AI for sure, right? Customer type can give different result. 100%, of course, because generally when we look at niches, we look at consumer. But if your customer is not a consumer, your customer is a small business owner versus a solopreneur, the model is going to be very different for sure. The content will be different as well. In the 6 online models, which one is the fastest to make money to the longest? There's no easy answer because it's not just the business model. For example, if you target affiliate marketing, but your niche is one where people spend very little money to buy a product, then your commissions become very small, right? If I'm going to do affiliate marketing, then you either do a very popular one where you can have a 2,000 page website with a lot of content, since the AI is writing most of it anyway, or at least for my master site, even the affiliate review is written by the AI. You just have to paste the affiliate link over there, for example. Then, honestly, there's a reason why people become business owners like ourselves. Why? Because you can do trading and make maybe 5% a month, but as a business owner, if you understand your customer market, you can turn your capital and return it hundreds of percent a month. You can borrow money and pay 5% a year and make 30% of that amount you just borrowed. And you take 30% minus 5%, your net profit is 25%, right? So the business models is a function, of course, of the niche itself, for sure. Cindy is saying I'm not the only one looking at the aging niche. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. Well, everybody suddenly want to focus on the aging niche, yeah? To each his own. That's not a problem. I mean, the opportunity is certainly out there. And I can tell you guys that if you want to deal with physical products, okay, if you want to deal with physical product, I'll give you the answer on how to get started. Right now, AI is affecting in a good way, right? Every industry, even when it comes to product usage, because now it's AI assisted or AI brain or AI chip or whatever the case is. So you'll be surprised that even a toothbrush that doesn't have AI, next time the toothbrush can monitor your teeth health, for example, right? So there's going to be evolution when it comes to implementation of technology. It's basically IoT, Internet of Things. But now it's AI plus I, right? So it's not as Internet of Things, but also AI application. And the answer would be to look for a pivot of technology for almost anything, consumer device, consumer appliance, whatever the case is. You have to invest your time and money to go and visit a trade fair or trade show, like a Guangzhou show, for example. That's where all the latest and greatest will showcase their stuff. In fact, if you know some of these local brands in Singapore, I don't have to name any of them, whether they're in oral care or whatever the case is, or personal grooming, for example, they all come from Guangzhou Fair. And in fact, the truth is that, and what Ivan, who has a Chinese wife, would tell you, in fact, you can almost find everything in Pinduoduo, right? But if you're going to build a business, I'll tell you this, build a brand, okay? Don't just sell things. And therefore, if you're not ready and you're not willing to build a brand, to build a product, like product e-commerce business, and you're not willing to spend money on paid advertising, I'll tell you this, then don't touch the product e-commerce business. It sounds very sexy, but it's not for you. So what do you focus on? Then you focus on services. You focus on lead generation. You leverage the search engines. You work with a partner. You don't like working with partner, then you do affiliate marketing. Shopee, Lazada, all have affiliate programs, by the way. Amazon has affiliate programs as well. You can use these as monetization channels. Okay? But please, my friends, don't take 20 years to go decide. Yeah? Remember, ready, fire, aim. Don't just take 20 years and do nothing and the world goes by. So I've offered you this tool. This is my personal tool. I'll continue to make improvements on it because when I get new ideas, I talk to my lovable AI engineer and we introduce new features, just like Firecrawl, for example. Now, if you are serious about wanting to not get the AI to hallucinate, then I'll tell you, if you don't use Firecrawl, the AI can hallucinate. Okay, but you also need to know that I've also prevented the AI from hallucinating. Doesn't mean that it doesn't hallucinate, but it hallucinates a lot less now because I have already vibe coded some safeguards within the platform. FYI, right? For your information. So you said for Fu Linton is saying medical niche, your mileage YMYL, right? Sorry, what's YMYL? Is there any issue with master SEO generating article with prompt? It will not have any problem. Okay, if you're referring about medical niche and AI content, I will tell you quite frankly, it's best to avoid medical niche because when you get into that kind of niche, the doctor has to review the content. It's not that the AI cannot write fairly accurate medical articles. It's just that, yeah, your money, your life. Exact. Thank you for refreshing me on this, right? Yeah. So YMYL, if you can read the chat right now, is an area that the search engines, Google in particular, is paying particular attention, right? Because they don't want AI slop content to exist in the search results. That can be very damaging or death defying even. And the category for that is your money, your life type of segment. And the medical niche falls into that, right? So I'll tell you that you and I generally have no business to be in the medical niche itself. The same goes for financial advice, for example. There are so many other niches to play in, evergreen niches. I mean, basically a niche is finding a sweet spot where you believe you can do a better job. Either you or your business partner, who could be a stranger like a feng shui master, for example, right? But the feng shui master is a great master. He doesn't know how to articulate himself. He doesn't know how to market. Then I say go partner with him. Build your own website. Drive leads to him. Agree on how you to monetize. It could be on a lead basis. It could be on a consultation basis as well, right? So there are many of such business models, and I have it here for you as a business model that you can select and move ahead itself. So I would say use the tool on a daily basis until you find a niche, and then after that you move to execute your niche blueprint execution plan. I mean, short of doing nothing, short of trying to brainstorm, my point is that this tool will help you fast track a lot quicker, a lot more easily. Now, any final questions that you may have so far? Danny is asking, NicheLab isn't to use this information to enhance the master sitemap. The sitemap in master SEO, remember the niche blueprint give you guidance on how to populate your sitemap configurator in master SEO. It's there for you, right? Is here. So take this information, copy and paste into master SEO to generate your sitemap. So at least your sitemap comes out a lot more realistic and you don't have to think too much, especially the website brief. If you use master SEO, not only using master site is actually workable, yes, and as already mentioned, I'm going to be releasing the GEO generator within master SEO probably sometime next week. It's already ready, I just have to keep testing it a little bit more. How do I get back feature on my NicheLab account on GEO Analyzer and Competitive Analysis? My account missing this too. It cannot be unless you are on the 5-day challenge. Yeah, if you are in the 5-day challenge, then they will gate. One day they release one module. But if you log in from the landing page, which is nichelab.io, you should see all 5 just like me. Can we insert Google Map into the master site? Yes, you can, depending on where you want to insert it, right? If you want to insert it in an article, you can just place it in the HTML. If you want to insert it on the, let's say the footer, then you can just ask Lovable to insert it for you. How do you exit the 5-day challenge? Well, you basically, all you need to do is to go to NicheLab.io, as I already mentioned. And you log in from here. Either that or you log out first. Right? Either that or you log out, like so. Back to home page and then click through. Okay, so log out first and then you can log in later on. Now that I've completed the NicheLab training, then my next focus will be on all the new master site features. That's to show you, for example, let me get to the right. Okay, let me just switch over. So this is my admin area. For those of you who are unaware, under the admin dashboard, there's articles. Is it blur? Hang on, yeah. And let me share. Is it clearer now? Should be, right? Okay, so those of you who are not aware, you go to admin, articles. I have what we call the auto publish schedule, which you can enable. It will determine how many articles you have in draft. So if I say one article every 1 day, and then you say, okay, 2 drafts enough for 2 batches over 2 days, and then you pick a start date and time to publish over here, right? And then you click save schedule. You'll go ahead and publish this 2 over the next 2 days. Now, what is this? Let me just show this to you. So this is a ClickBank product, and this is an AI review in this case, with the call to action over here if you have an affiliate link. Firstly, let me disable the scheduling. I don't want to publish those unrelated because I'm just testing it. So how it works, affiliate, you choose your platform, ClickBank, Lazada, Shopee, they have different requirements to publish Shopee. So like say for example, this one is published by, this is a Shopee content. So I need quite a few things from Shopee to make it work, because Shopee doesn't allow you to scrape the content, but I found a workaround. And if you look at the Shopee affiliate review, which I managed to get the AI to write as well, I think it's quite decent, right? So the fun part is all you need to do, okay, is to add a URL here. So let's say, for example, you go to whatever, right? Let's say, let's try this. Well, they will ask you to log in. Let's try ClickBank Marketplace. I don't know why ClickBank has more and more crappy products nowadays. But let's say you find something, and of course you can you will use your ClickBank hop link. Now of course you do want to have a landing page that has some content. It doesn't have to have a lot of content, but at least some content to make it work. And in this case, I can just paste a URL. Generate review. And then they give you the actual review that's written. Of course, I byte coded the instructions on what to write and so on and so forth. I click save. And then how it works is that I can now select this review or set of reviews. I push as article. They ask for select category. It will be a product review. Publish as article. Right? And bam, it goes on to articles. And you will see here, show up here. So here you can review it, make any changes you want. I mean, literally one click, right? You know what I'm trying to say? Okay. Now, of course, there are other things, so I will do a separate webinar for this, because the multi-language is also ready. And when I say multi-language, means everything, right? All the labels on top, the website, all the way down to the footer, everything is multi-language. Every element. And you can choose the language you want to translate to. The language drop-down selector will add the language in, and then you can now translate the content one by one. Okay, this one is in Indonesian, as you can see here. It's not yet translated, yeah, okay. But everything should be translated. So anyway, let's take things one step at a time. Happy to guide you step by step. Can you include traditional Chinese? Of course, no problem. Vincent Han, no problem. Traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese is a separate language, but definitely master site can do that. That's not a problem. Okay, easy. Any language you want can be done. So how it works? Okay, and don't forget, when it comes to multi-language, to consider whether you're doing domain.com/language or is it a subdomain. You have that option as well. Again, you still need to refer and reference your SEO knowledge, because if you don't, then you may not understand what the hell you're doing, isn't it? Right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things I want to share with you, but again, I think what was the missing link was NicheLab. And now that NicheLab is publicly known to you, please take the time over the next couple of days or weeks to go and get and identify some new projects, because it won't hurt you, it won't cost you a lot of money, it won't even cost you a lot of time, considering that we are clicking our way through from NicheLab to master site to master SEO. And I want to show you, right, how to put everything together. Okay, but I don't want you to just watch me do it, because obviously I know how to do these things. I want you to be able to take some action and, come into a community of like-minded people. That's really what I want to accomplish, because we're not far from each other, right? We are in Singapore. We're either in Singapore or Malaysia, and it's not that impossible to create a community, So start with NicheLab, start getting something out there, and then we can talk more about the other workflow downstream. Once you have a niche, with NicheLab, it's very easy to progress, and the reason is simply because the NicheLab blueprint is comprehensive enough, at least to me, to move ahead and get started. And honestly, I will eat my own dog food. Why should I reinvent something? I'll just use my niche blueprint and literally follow it. Now, if you don't like the answer, then you just tweak. But you tweak until you find the right niche, and then you use a niche blueprint to move forward, to build a website, to generate SEO content, and also GEO content. Because as I said, my master SEO tool will be GEO ready literally next week. It's ready. It's just that you can't see it because I keep it hidden. Just like my multi-language module, my affiliate review module, and so on and so forth in mastersite.ai. Okay, so I can tell you that even if you're not motivated, I am motivated to build better tools, because I get to benefit from it. First and foremost, I'm my own beta tester, and you can join us for the ride, because as I said, real internet secrets 15 years ago and today is completely different. The last thing I want to say is this: those of you with the master site access, the master site access, currently the demo master site, sure, it is a content website. It's like a lead generation website because it has built-in forms, but it can be anything you want it to be. Okay, I've already repurposed it to become a directory, just to let you know, because it can be done. Obviously, it's easy to do. That's something that your WordPress theme and plugin cannot do, but master site can be done. Okay, and again, if you whatever you need, if you join me in the training, you can always ask. That's the reason why you should show up in the first place, right? As opposed to watching a recording. Because when you watch a recording, you see other people's questions get answered, not necessarily your question get answered. And finally, I'm not even freaking charging you any money for this bloody training. I've invested 2.5 hours of my time plus prep time to walk you through. I mean, who the hell is doing this today in Southeast Asia? You let me know, please, right? For free, on a free tool. Okay? So, your first step is the most important. I created NicheLab.io to possess all the components you need, at least at the initial stage, to say go, no go. And then if you say go, what's next? What's next is it is obviously, logically, heavily integrated with master site and master SEO, because master site is to build the website. So we take the niche blueprint, provide it to Lovable AI to help us repurpose our clone site. We do the same for master SEO, and after that it's just clicking buttons moving forward. All right, so I think it's a good time to take a break. Thank you everyone for attending this webinar. I really hope that you continue to support yourself, to make sure that you do something. Please don't tell me you don't have any money, because NicheLab is totally free. Generate 5 ready to fire niche reports. Once you have those things and you know the direction, I can lead you forward in terms of what do I do next to start my online business. Okay, so I'm no BS with you, because I'm not even doing this for a living, right? Which you should be glad, because I'm generally much nicer. I don't even charge you an arm and a leg like many years ago, because I used to have physical premises and everything. Now it's Zoom, I understand. So all I need is your participation. Go out there and brainstorm 3 to 5 niches. I don't care how long you take. I don't care how many times you need to run NicheLab. Go do it. When you can have those 5 reports, I'll call for our next webinar, and then we'll move 1 inch forward to our next steps. Okay, friends, thank you so much for showing up. I am appreciative that you even attend my webinar. It's one thing to organize a webinar, but if none of you show up, then I end up talking to myself, right? Not so fun. So, NicheLab, once again, nichelab.io is the URL. It'll always be free. Well, as I said, as long as it's in beta. So go use it and go and start brainstorming your niche. I'll teach you how to get to the next steps. I'll show you step by step how to go from your niche research report to the next step to take it live. Okay, I'll give you more guidance there, but for now it's up to you to do your own homework, and I'll see you again soon. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.